So freaking cool. It's so freaking cool. Booting up the game now and just having an entirely different title screen. Hello, baby eggs. This is Calvin, also known as Ormer, and this is my first ever playthrough of the Stanley Parable 2, apparently now. Is this different at all? Maybe not. The music just feels so eerie, right? Feels so much more different. Let's do one run through this title screen to see if it is any way different. Maybe not. Like, this music feels like a different game, but I guess that's what he's going for as well, the narrator. I'm having such a good time with this playthrough. I'm having such a good time. So many weird and wonderful things about this. Maybe, I don't think it is. Maybe we can look at it some more time if it is something new on here, but it doesn't look like there's something new. So what we're going to do is, first of all, is I want to go back to the area you were before we do anything, right? Before we do any of the other endings, because I know that the buckets, we're going to be going through the whole game with the bucket.
All of
right?
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
We're going to be exploring this place with the
Stanley decided
bucket.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait. Oh, we can't yet? So we have to wait maybe. Oh, okay, so we actually have to use the bucket now. So maybe later on we can get back there? Oh, okay.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And a wave
Okay.
of comfort rushed over him.
Because I think right now we're in like a specific route then. Because there's no new content door. So until the new content door reappears again, we will do this then. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Okay, so in the route that we're... Should we just start doing stuff we did before, but with the bucket? Is that what we're doing? Use the bucket? Just go through some places with the bucket? Is that what we're doing? So let's just follow orders this time, right? Let's just do the same thing we did the first time, see if anything changes.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay. The bucket is implicated into the story. Fair enough. The emotional support bucket. Yeah, I wonder how things are going to change with the bucket, though. I'm really curious.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
This is so interesting. Because again, I was thinking like, how are they going to implicate this like into the story itself? Oh my god, the pause screen. And here they are, like implicating it or inputting it into the story very, very well, in my opinion. Already.
Coming to a staircase,
you see what I mean with this stuff here?
Upstairs to the boss's office.
Like already adding the turns that the bucket did it. You know, you already say like the bucket is already like a part of the story. The bucket's already part of the narration. Very cool.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
True.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Again, there's the reference to the bucket.
In his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Full-on story here about this.
Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's
And this had to transition to this?
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion
the dialogue's
that the
so
pin
different.
number for the keypad was 2845.
The dialogue is so... like, all the dialogue is different. Like a full monologue about how...
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket...
See what I mean?
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Is it not... Would you guys agree with this? Right now, as I'm playing this, the bucket's actually not making me feel comfortable whatsoever. Like, it's a great thing that they changed the dialogue around completely and stuff like this as well. But you know what's kind of scaring me about the bucket as well is that, like, this whole new feature with the bucket, right? Like, it's that he's drawing attention to it so much that actually it's having the opposite effect of a soothing effect. It's like, what is this bucket going to do? What's the story with the bucket? Like, what else is going to happen with the bucket? Like, it makes me... Oh, what a collectible!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley
There's
figurines.
actually going to be collectibles in this.
No reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Sure,
You
look at
can't
this
buy
background.
that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Sure. So we already found one in the other part of the game. Now it's their second one, so we actually can find all those little collectibles. Honestly, that's a really fun thing. But again, I that means like if he implicated the collectibles, he implicated the balloons, he implicated the bucket. That means there's probably like the endless hole around here as well. Then, right? That means there's probably like a lot of the stuff, like the gym button. Are we gonna have the gym button again? I'm excited but nervous. I think it's a normal way to feel with this bucket in my hand. It's my companion for life, apparently, but also makes me feel very
The
nervous.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
But I have the bucket.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
And he's put so much importance on the
Soothing
bucket.
him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Thank you,
The
bucket.
bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Sorry, but it's so crazy to me. Like, and I think he's emphasizing the bucket because it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's like, it's almost like he wants it to work. You know, he wants the bucket the system to work, where it's like, you feel the bucket, right? The bucket's making you soothe. But it's like, really, in real life, it's having the opposite effect. I'm nervous about the bucket. I'm like looking at the bucket
Stanley
like...
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
And it is going to be my companion for this game, I guess.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to
Like, the
themselves.
bucket's our pal now, apparently, in the story. Does that mean we're gonna have a sad scene with the bucket, like in one of those games where like the bucket like either leaves us, we get separated, or maybe something happens to the bucket, or when something happens to us and the bucket has to go on? You know, that's the sequel. The bucket, or the end of the trilogy is the bucket goes on in the next game.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears.
Aw,
as
bucket.
Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything
Oh, we
would
did?
be fine.
We cradled the bucket. Here's the thing. I know for a fact that with this game, right now the bucket's making me feel nervous because I don't know what's going to happen with this, right? With all these different like routes you can take with this now, right? But I know for a fact that this game is going to somehow, just like it did with kind of the narrator, it's going to make me like a little bit softer towards the bucket going forward. I think like by route 3, I feel like I'm going to be like actually cradling the bucket for safety. You know what I mean? I feel like my the reality he's making is going to become an actual reality. The narrator, I mean.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence?
Are
as
you
well?
Mr. Bucket?
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Oh, don't
What
say it ain't
kinds
so,
of
Bucket.
things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
So we're even thinking like, what does this bucket want? What does he think? Like, is it the bucket under mind control? So this bucket, at least in the narrator's perspective, is the thing that's going to keep us together here.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone
Into the
else's
bucket?
control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
It kind of feels like a Castaway Wilson type situation here, right? And also, like, even the fact that we scream into the bucket, like, our story now, the second time around as we're doing this in the sequel, is even more tied to, like, the bucket in, like, more ways than one. It's not just we're carrying around the bucket. The bucket is our friend. The bucket is also thinking about this mind control stuff. We're screaming into the bucket. The bucket's, like, the thing holding us together. It is all about the
But
bucket.
here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket,
Best
up
pals.
against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
Oh, cool way.
The bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Stop. The sassy comment and the high five. It's like he is like our sassy like sidekick or whatever. Like, you know, like in those movies you have like that, or even like games, you have that side character who's like really funny or something like that. Even like, you know, most companions game, like the side character usually is the one that like brings on the jokes too. Again, more meta commentary. So we turned it off last time, right? Or the first time we came in here.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Yeah.
Was it over?
Usually the door opens now, right?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy.
Okay.
Freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door.
Mr. Bucket, what kind of life you want to live?
The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate.
Oh, yeah?
Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
What?
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening?
Wait, what?
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
What?
An unbearable silence filled the room.
Oh, it's definitely changed.
In uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
What?
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
What are you talking about?
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it.
What the
Stanley
hell?
realized he would never again leave this very room.
What?
But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad.
Yeah, it is.
Stanley thought to himself.
It's terrifying.
As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about
My
to
heart
find
is
out.
pounding. No. Don't reload. What the hell? So the endings are going to be very different with this bucket. Very different. What we just got there, with the original ending of that, is that we leave and like then it loops back, right? We get to have this piece and we loop back. But the narrator's talking about like how amazing this bucket is, right? How beautiful this bucket is as a companion. How like when he implemented this into the story, it's like it's the be all and end all. And I wonder if it's like such a belief in like the story of the bucket, right? And the idea of this bucket being the thing that holds us together, that they're saying that the facility itself has a mind of its own, that it was like, I don't want this bucket to leave because that makes me feel calm as well. Like the facility is like, I understand how good this bucket is. I ain't having this leave. And then Stanley understands how good the bucket is. So he's like, I don't want to leave with this either. The bucket became like the most important thing in the world in that one moment there. Well, the whole thing, was like the way he was narrating it. But now the bucket is like the be all and end all for Stanley and the facility in that scene. I guess that kind of like, at least in the narration, the narration that we had, the mind control facility has a mind of its own. The mind control facility told, basically said that we can't leave without this bucket because they want the bucket here too. Yeah, I feel like what they've done with this is so well done. I feel like what we have with this is, because I think like every ending will always weird me out. But now that they introduced the bucket into this thing, it feels like they've almost like turned everything that was already on its head and then pushed it on its back. Right? Maybe that's a bad example. Maybe the way I would say it's turned on its head and then they like took the game that's already on its head and then like threw it and it spinned a bunch of times and landed all like in a really like strange position. Right? Because like now I got to the point at the end of like the escape pod room and all this stuff where I was still like, you know, so mesmerized by these endings. But I feel like we got a better idea of like, okay, I think I can understand what they're going for. This is my theory. This is what I get here. Now with this stuff with the bucket, it's taken like, it's like all that stuff that you saw, like at least, at the very least with all the weird stuff happening, we understood we saw the endings. We had this like, there's a little bit of comfort in knowing like those endings we saw. Even though there's no comfort in the actual endings themselves, there's comfort in understanding that we know what the endings are, right? I know that ending. I got that ending. Okay, we don't have to look at that ending, at least like for a while, until we like maybe want to get a different route on that ending, right? This game goes, here's the bucket. Now all those endings that you thought you knew, the one like little comfort of like, well, I know that ending, right? Is like gone. It's gone now. You're donezo. Let's pick up the bucket again.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt
It's
away
really well
as
done.
Stanley embraced the bucket.
Really well done stuff. So actually, I want to go into the basement this time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I want to go down into the car park again. The car park was this way, right? Yeah, it was this way. There will be rewards for finding them all? Wait. Inside the sequel exhibition nearby a fireplace, so that's okay. Private but smelly place for an important person. Somewhere both red and blue, that's the red and blue doors. Stairs, something to do with stairs. A large room, lots of boxes. That's actually a really cool way of like showcasing where they will be, right? 100%. The trust the completionist instinct. I don't have that. Warehouse access plan. Wait, what? Produce one plank to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow construction of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from the warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. Thank you. Good luck. Sure thing. Wait, has this changed again? Maybe there are collectibles. Shut the frick up. To make concern, imagine to pick up the sound to unusual or regular offices, ambiences, or local audio sources using an array of cardioid microphones, also known as directional mic. A microphone which could pick up the sound from a particular area. Small floating up. What the hell is happening? Analysis of the recordings allowed me to triangulate the source of the strange noises. Data showed that in all likelihood it's coming from the dark area behind the very warm place. I also picked up what looks like a reverberance off the porcelain surface. Anyone have any idea leads on this? Wouldn't you like to know? So this is maybe still a hint somewhere to get them? Source of levitation. So there's one in the bathroom somewhere. Weird spinning figurines. Ideas. Employee 421 building a bridge. Do we need contracts? NDA? Potential liability? Can we sell the item? Obviously, more money if sold together. How many are there? 6. So it's like almost like, again, a very meta topic on this where it's like, hey, like, this is the figurines you're finding in the game. And not only are we finding them in the game, it's also like you see the development of the idea of what the figurines are, the collectibles are. What do they want? Stock options, money, our data. Should we make them Lemphages interns? Maybe. Why would they kind of look like 427? So they kind of look like 427? Why are they floating? Training exercise, magnets, dream, our quarterly success. What we know, what we forgot, what we don't know yet, bonus stuff. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless to be honest. What? Wait. Oh, sorry. That already changed. Yeah. I want them so much. Stop kidding yourselves. There will be cleaning of the wall required. Who are you? This like literally looks like Left 4 Dead. This looks like Left 4 Dead. Beware the false prophet, because there's a bad one. 10 steps to a successful workplace investigation. Decide whether to investigate. If necessary, take the immediate action. Choose an investigate. Plan to investigate. Conduct interviews. Gather documents. Clues / evidence. Evaluate documents, clues, and evidence. Take action. Document. Print list. Friglies, thank you. Good luck. So this is them trying to like encourage us to find the collectibles as well, but it's also in a way that, again, it's not like... It's done in a very irregular way. It's like... We use the word meta a lot. How can we find them? Bottom text. It's like kind of like... They're a part of the game, but also we're seeing the ideas for them behind it too. Small floating objects appeared. Okay. And these are all these things too. Yeah, it just makes you feel more nervous knowing that, like, you know, there's like documented proof of like, you know, that I'm in a game basically, you know? Agenda. How can you tell you spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took pictures of them? So there's one up in the office, by the way. There's one off in the executive bathroom. Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room. They're called Friglies, by the way. Okay, let's go. Not there.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, is it here? Red room? Yes.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these
Frigley's,
things.
right?
What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. A Stanley. Yeah, man, this makes me so much more nervous because it's like it's creating a new. It's like I'm playing a new game all over again. It's like I've started the Stanley Parable from scratch. It feels like everything is like once again around every corner. I'm like, they've doubled the game. They've doubled the game. They doubled the anxiety here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Is something going to be involved with the bucket?
He was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket.
There's the bucket, okay.
Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Our little sidekick.
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
So it's no longer feeling
and
comfortable for us?
Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal,
What?
everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
Wait,
This
so
is
everyone
all
has a
terribly
bucket?
wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre
Wait, put
hallucinations
away the
Stanley
bucket.
might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
True.
And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh,
Oh, and here we have the floating
he
aspect
exclaimed.
too.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it?
Putting
I must
so much
find
emphasis
it.
on how this
Far
bucket
off in the
supports
distance
us.
now, he heard it calling to him. Stanley!
No!
Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Why is this so scary to
Could
me?
it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next.
Oh my God, all the
None of
buckets
them
are
were
appearing.
his. None of them were his special bucket.
So
Come
this
to me,
this
Stanley.
does that mean there's multiple
Find
buckets in the
me.
office? The
He had to
voice.
find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming
Where?
from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What do you mean?
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What? I've
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
What's Mariella
She
gonna
rose,
do?
Got dressed, picked
So
up
she
her
has a bucket.
of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh no.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the
My
sidewalk.
hair is pounding.
Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
Stop!
Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion.
But
and
what
it's
about you,
all just a
Mariella?
video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his
Wait,
bucket
the
with
bucket
him.
like is like gonna suit us from that
Perhaps he
idea
didn't
too.
even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought.
And she has her
hugged
bucket.
her own bucket even tighter.
Oh,
But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work.
fair enough.
For which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Backflipped. Oh my god, what they have done with this is masterful, guys. And this is what I'm talking about. We done both of those endings technically before, but since they added the bucket to it and changed them and changed even the dialogue, what I'm experiencing now with those endings is like a whole new feeling again of that you know. And I think there I felt like I went through the ending before and I felt very claustrophobic and suffocated as I was doing it, right? And I went through this again this time, and I just think that's what's so cool about this like new way they're doing things. It's scary too. An ending that I've done before, because they added a bucket to it. They've added one item to it, and it's changed everything. I felt claustrophobic and suffocated again. I felt scared. I was wondering what was going to happen next. So we know now that like technically like in this world, every worker has a bucket, right? We know now in this world somehow like I'm thinking Mariella like maybe has her own narrator, or maybe it's one of those things where like it's so out of our like we were witnessing this as well as the player that like, you know, maybe it's not even like Muriel's narrator. Maybe it's just he's still narrating Stanley, but describing what Marielle is doing as well, I guess. But in this world, everyone has a bucket that soothes them, that makes them feel happy, that makes them feel like content and satisfied. And there is a theme, I think, in this game of the idea of like feeling satisfied, the idea of like, you know, being satiated with your life and being happy with your life. We talked about the idea of the workplace pressures and all this stuff too. And I wonder if, you know, the way they're describing this as well, he picked up the wrong bucket, he left his bucket at home, the bucket was inside of him all along. Is that a commentary, I wonder, on the idea that the power to soothe himself and to make himself happy is inside of him, but it's also a literal thing because he said it was painful, so there's obviously like a physical bucket inside of his stomach somehow. Like, that's what he's saying, it's painful, it's hurting me, he doubles over in pain and then blacks out as well. The way the narrator is selling this bucket is that if you do not have the bucket, you will not be free. If you do not have the bucket, in this world, other people will will pity you and you will black out and basically die. Where we talk into the bucket, we converse with the bucket. It is like a central point for us to keep like our focus on almost. And there's a line he said there as well that like caught my eye as well as we were going through that world again. The idea of like looking for the bucket. We heard, you know, the idea of like hearing the bucket's voice and trying to follow it, and the bucket like, you know, never like actually truly existing. I do think I wonder if it is like the bucket is supposed to be a substitute for our own self, trying to do things for our own self and soothe ourselves and make ourselves happy, right? The bucket is something that is like, you know, I'm not going to say, and maybe, you know, I'm just going to leave some bucket stands in the comments, you know what I mean? I'm a bucket stand. I buy all the bucket photo cards. But I'm not like, you know, I think the bucket is a really great feature, but I wonder if the bucket is like a way of like, making us as a player feel like everything in this route, so far anyway, is technically being ruined by the absence of the bucket or having the bucket in our hands. So the bucket is like a central part of this. It could be that we need the narrator or the game is trying to show us that we need this bucket if we want to get out here, but also if we don't have the bucket, it's also going to be we need the bucket even though it's like holding us back from escaping. We need the bucket even though because if we don't, we're not going to be soothed and we're going to like go crazy and we're going to go mad. Like, even though the bucket was holding us back from escaping, it's still something that we wanted to hold in our hands. It was the only thing keeping us together. In the second route that we just did there, the bucket was like the only thing that was calling out to us, but really it was all in ourselves all along. So maybe we need to find that peace within ourselves somehow as well to keep ourselves from going mad. So the bucket could be just like some sort of, but then we saw Marielle with the bucket as well. So she also has a bucket and she pitied us about the bucket too. I wonder what they're going to do more with the bucket, but in terms of that route there as well, yeah, maybe feel claustrophobic again, maybe feel suffocated. I really felt like it was terrifying because I didn't know what they were going to do next. And that's why this is so masterful so far.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Because they're making me feel
What did it mean?
Stanley parable
Stanley decided
nerves
to go to the meeting room.
all over
Perhaps
again.
its warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
What should we do next? Should we do the... What's a route we could do next? I'm trying to think.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We'll try the bomb ending. Now, the bucket could also be a thing where it is like kind of like a... what was that? Was that always there? The music? There will be a reward for finding them all, by the way. And it says lies there as well. Yeah, I don't obviously don't have a grasp on what the bucket is so far, or what it wants to. I mean, it could just be a fun thing to do different routes, 100%. But I also think it could be just like
Coming to a staircase,
a symbol
Stanley and the
of
bucket walked upstairs to
us
the
trying
boss's
to
office.
like get through life, but something's holding us back, maybe. But it also could just be the narrator wanting to introduce like a type of character that is like the companion in the game that like we rely on too much instead of relying on ourselves. You know what I mean? Could be.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines.
Maybe.
And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure
I like Figlies. Figlies is nice. Because the boss knows what the boss says goes, the boss suffered losses, and that's what the boss chose. That's a very toxic environment. You're never gonna get anywhere. Wait. I actually kind of want to try the escape pod.
Stepping in.
And see what happens with the bucket. Does the escape pod ending change with the bucket? Trust and completionist instance. We have. Well, we just fought that. We found that one too. So we have like we got that one. So we have somewhere both red and blue. So that's the red and blue door. Then there's a large room, lots of boxes. That's the we have to go left, or right. Sorry. Is there? Do you think the color tone has changed? It's a lot more like yellow and maybe midday-esque. There's the balloons as well, by the way. Wait. Oh no, sorry. This is where, yeah, this is definitely where we came from. This might not change that much because the narrator's not speaking this time around as well, but we'll see. We'll see what happens now. Because we still have the bucket. You're now leaving. This way, isn't it? I wonder. This ending's great, though. There's a red door here. This game is still so perfect. That's what I'm saying. With this second time around with the bucket, it's such a good game. Like, and I want to hear you guys' take on this too, because I feel like I just played like, so much of Stanley Parable. I think I played up to like 8 hours now. And still this game is surprising me. They've turned this game on its head and made me so freaking nervous again. Like, they've done such a good job with this. I feel like I'm going to be eternally impressed with the Stanley Parable. The quietness here always like gets to me as well. It's so crazy. I'm looking at this bucket, and yes, I understand that it's supposed to be a soothing thing. It also makes me feel like I'm in like a box or something. It makes me feel like I'm like, slamming on the side of a box, trying to get out of here, my theory right now, looking at it, is the idea that this is like a self-soothing thing that is also holding us back a little bit, right? And all these, but I wonder, we might get a different idea with the other routes. But at least for those two routes, that's what I thought. We might have a different perspective when we do like the escape route. It might just because there's no dialogue, we might not even know if there's any difference, right? We'll see. Because it stopped us right before we got here, right? Last time. Wait. Wait, the bucket? Are we putting the bucket inside the escape pod? Wait, what? What are we doing? Just tapping the bucket? We're like rubbing the bucket like it's like a pet? Lovingly looking at this bucket? What is happening? With this music is... No freaking way. We're letting the bucket escape? With this music as well. This is what I was talking about, by the way. With her hands stretched out. Our lovely bucket. Oh my god. And once again, the bucket's leaving. We're not leaving. You know what I mean? We're without the bucket now. And we start again. Do you remember at the start of this, I said, what if they do something like with a companion in a game where like either you die or the companion dies? I know that that's not what happened here, but it was like, that moment in those companion games, you know, when you have like a companion with you, and it's that moment where like things are getting really hectic, you know, and it's like, go on without me, or like, you know, you gotta move, you gotta do it now. And it's in movies as well, by the way. It's like, you know, like the person staying behind to like activate the machine or whatever, and it's very dangerous. It felt like that moment where it's like, I'll stay behind, you go ahead. And they even played this like really like epic like orchestral music with this beautiful like vocal drone over the bottom of it. And I really felt like it was at that moment in the movie where we're like, thank you, Mr. Bucket, thank you so much. And the Bucket's like, Godspeed, you know, or like, don't go, no, come with me, I gotta stay behind. So even now, right, and this is what I think about like the whole idea of the bucket being like a symbol for something, where it's like we are not looking inward to something of what the problem is now. And I think you could then say the narrator's, you know, issue with the loops as well, him trying to create a new idea for the loops, like the bucket is just like a replacement for like actual, like, how do I say this without sounding weird? It's like the bucket's like an actual replacement for him actually making like some really big and again, we see the changes here. The endings have changed, but the bucket for him is also like a self-soothing thing as well, where he's like very satisfied, you know, like, and I'm satisfied as well with the endings, but like I'd say, let's look at it from Stanley and the narrator's perspective. It's like the narrator's like, the bucket's changing everything. So in a way, the bucket is soothing the narrator more than soothing us, I feel like, in a way, you know what I mean? Where it's like, yes, I introduced the bucket and now every ending is changing. There's new stuff. It feels like a sequel. So maybe the soothing bucket is also soothing for the narrator in a way too. But there, once again, I do think it is like a symbol of like us holding ourselves.
To go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed the memo.
Wait. Did I hit the window? The bucket's not gone forever, is it? No. No way. What? I didn't mess it up, did I? I won't have to restart the entire game, will I? I mean, actually, it wouldn't be that hard to get to where I was, but still. There's no way, right? No, what just happened? There's no way.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Huh? Is there no way to get the bucket back? Am I without the bucket now? That music is so scary to me. I'm really worried that we lost this bucket now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed...
My freaking heart. My freaking heart. My freaking heart. Oh my freaking god. I actually got so nervous.
This one too, you dolt.
Wait, so all you have to do is reset once? Like they just would have made you go through the entire route again if you didn't reset? That is mad, guys. I was so freaking scared. I thought that I honestly did not understand.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Like, I thought that like they were literally going to do a thing where they got rid of the bucket for the whole time, but I think it's just legit they just wanted you to reset. I think that's legit just what they wanted you to do.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply...
Oh, this time the bucket's calling us to the lounge. Okay. Let's go. Has anything changed about the lounge?
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Do we wait here for a while like last time as well? And once again, propping up the bucket, saying the bucket's amazing.
Being here with the bucket was a grand adventure.
Yeah, he's so supportive of being here now.
Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Oh, fact. True. What a great time we've had with Mr. Bucket. Man, that made me so scared. I legit thought that it was going to be a thing where I had to replay everything or something.
The bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
He somehow the bucket found his place here too. I don't know when the dialogue's going to be like kind of like exhausted, but we'll keep going.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much
God,
time
he's
as
so
it needed
supportive
to
this time
be in
around.
the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Do you want to? Can we put the bucket down on the table or something? Does the bucket want to sit down? Okay, it sounds like we've exhausted the dialogue, but you never know with the Stanley Parable, but we'll keep going, I guess.
But finally, the bucket was done being
I
in
love
the
that the
lounge,
bucket's leading
and
the
they
way
took
with this
the
journey
first
now.
open door on their left to get back to business.
There's more balloons there as well. So, do not lie. If you were lying, stop right now.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
What?
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
So the bucket's like has a Wallace and Gromit side character voice. This is the place where all the boxes. Oh, yes! There's a collectible over here. How do... There's a freaking platforming section. This is so fun. Oh, it's actually scary though. It's very scary. I was trying to move with the D-pad, baby, but if we want to get all these collectibles, we have to go this way.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines.
Figler and Marines?
You'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them.
True.
And now we have them all.
We're
You
much better
can't
now.
go
We
back
collected
to when
stuff.
you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
I can't remember a time when I didn't have them, man. Oh my god. What a time that was. Man, I'm so nervous. And not only just because I'm afraid of heights here, right? But just like all these routes are making me terrified. They really are. Oh. Where's this? Huh? Have we been... Again, there's probably places we have been before. But this seems like a whole different place again. Like this warehouse? No, I feel like I noticed there's lots of tapes around here. The narrator's not saying anything though. Evidence? What? What game is this now?
This is day number 295.
Excuse me?
Tape number... I don't even know.
What have we found?
I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
What?
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it,
My heart
it's always the same feeling.
is pounding.
And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
It's like a drug, right?
Make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still
The zooming in is
haven't
terrifying me.
figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is
Stop.
in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
He went from not understanding to monetizing it. My heart is like stopping. I can barely like a...
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
What did we just find?
This is my golden ticket.
Please.
But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who
The
might be
tone of
trying
this is
to
so
get...
different.
What's that?
Stop.
Who's there? Camporata.
Gambarata? What the frick just happened? What is that? What is that? No! No! Are you joking me? Where are we now? Where are we freaking now? What are you talking about?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What the frick is Gambarata?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again. Not
Stop.
truly alone. Not with the bucket around.
Please. This tape recorder we heard was such a different tone for this game. I know they changed the tone a lot, but like this time it was even more different than usual. Like this evidence tape of like, and it started off with him kind of being frustrated with the bucket and then almost fell in love with the bucket all over again as the tape was going on and talking about how he's going to monetize, how people would pay for it. But then something called Gambarata came in and killed him. And this guy had a lot of tapes around there, so he was documenting the stuff for at least 252 times, right? It said 252 on the tape. What in the frickin' hell did I just witness? That gave me so many chills. Once again, this bucket here, to me, is more sinister than we think, I think. I think there's something to this bucket that is like and I thought it was just a symbol, but it might be something physically changing our worldview, but also like, I do think that there's a symbol there for holding us back and stuff like this too, but I do think there's like something there that is like affecting our brains, because it's clearly affected not only us, Mariella and this guy too. And there's some other force here, Gambarata. Like, it became a horror game. It became like an investigative horror game all of a sudden. Insane what they're doing with this. And now we're in a different office as well. We have the soothing bucket to it, so maybe we should have gone without the bucket. Wait, what? Can we put the bucket back? Why is the office changed completely?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm trying to remember how we get to the red and blue doors, I guess, if we're doing that. But what happened there, man? I kind of want to get there again. Should we try the door? Well, how do we get to the red and blue doors again to get the collectible? I forget entirely. I think it's to go right. Jump off the thing.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket
Man, that
calling
was
to
so
him,
unnerving.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind.
What?
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, the bucket.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
So we can still get
Good.
there.
Said the bucket.
Good, said the
Now
bucket.
ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
The bucket's more aggressive than we
Stanley
think,
did
right?
not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him. And
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get the collectible next time. And then we're going to get there's actually the other ending I'm more compelled to do now is get the phone ending with the apartment.
he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yeah, we're just listening to the bucket. It's like the bucket is like possessing us almost. Right? Like, even the way that guy talks about the bucket, he said he doesn't know why, but every time he picks up the bucket, he feels compelled to, like, the world changes around him. It's like a drug almost.
In here.
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Oh my
Stanley
God.
once again obeyed blindly.
And the way he's doing the voices, like, the bucket is so petulant and aggressive to us as well. You know? Get in here. This is... I cannot believe the sequel has a soothing bucket that's making me feel worse than I did in the first game. I cannot believe it.
Now pick up the phone.
said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
It's almost like the devil on our shoulders is the bucket now, right? It really feels that way.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
Sad
Once
story.
upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh my god. It's a nice apartment. Oh my god. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous apartment. You put this in New York, you're paying $1 million. So he's saying now that we believe that the bucket can talk to us. So like, there's something about this bucket that feels compelling for people to pick up, but the narrator's like, you're crazy if you think this is real, right? Wait, there's the bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press aside and make me work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship.
Yeah?
It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
So does everyone have the bucket in their head then? Because we found 2 other people that were compelled to like keep the bucket with them. You know what I mean? We found 2 other people.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Are you?
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
So the narrator feels like we've become obsessive over this bucket that he introduced, that he's saying he just introduced to be kind of like... Now, I wonder again if it's the thing that something above us is controlling this as well, once again, right? Where the narrator sees the bucket as just something that is like nothing that compelling or nothing that amazing. It's just meant to soothe us a little bit. But characters like the character we heard on the radio or the tape and ourselves and Marielle, like there's something that was put into this bucket or something about this bucket. Now, it could be psychological that makes us like compelled to always have this bucket.
Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me?
This is
Listen
really
to me.
unnerving.
It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Man. I know, and it's maybe coupled to music and the tone of the narrative, even like, it actually like, you know, it's like, it's making me feel like really like weird and worried and stuff, you know? Like, there's a genuine concern I have here as well. Don't listen to the loud man, press X to go back home. So this, I think 100% is someone else compelling us to use this bucket than the narrator, right?
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket.
The bucket
His
replacing
stupid
the
hunk of
narrator in
metal.
this world? The bucket replacing the narrator? Ignore anyone in your life except for me. So the bucket is like literally making us so dependent on this bucket. And again, this I think is not the narrator telling us this. This is like the whatever's controlling the narrator as well, I think.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me
Stop
anymore.
that.
From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
That's so upsetting.
Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine
It does,
to
doesn't it? Like, this is like, it's dark because it literally does sound like the narrator is watching someone who he felt like, I guess, was maybe like his only connection in this world go deeper and deeper into connecting with a bucket rather than himself. And it's almost like, you know, when you hear, when someone has a vice or an addiction and you hear that person, you know, like, and again, I'm not going by like all stuff, but like, you know, you hear someone in real life and in movies, but then also as well, you hear like sometimes like with, you ever know someone who's addicted in their family always go like, I've been trying to get through to them. It's like he doesn't even talk to you anymore, you know? And it's like, it feels really, really like that, honestly, like, you believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press, oh my God. It feels like Stanley's been like lost in this bucket.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store
This house
bucket.
is beautiful.
It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Really the same day. So it's like never ending. Just me and you all day, all the time.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's
like-
literally just a bucket.
It's like the narrator was trying to join in so he wasn't left behind. Oh, I suppose it is cool, yeah, you know?
Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
No! Is he compelled by the bucket too? Go to home to work to home to work to home. Is he
Oh
literally...
no.
Stop.
I'm having feelings for the bucket.
He's being compelled by the bucket too.
What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks.
Oh,
What's wrong with me? I don't
candles.
understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
It's almost like a golem and a ring situation, right? It's almost like this bucket is like the one ring. If I had the bucket, the narrator's
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give
See
me
what
the
I mean?
bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give
Close
it
your
or-
eyes. What the hell just... What are you talking about? Go back to work. Someone please say something. Do something. What do you... What just happened? F off. F off. What just freaking happened? What an incredible ending. I have chills. I have the same type of chills you have after like hearing about like some crazy thing on the news. You know what I mean? When something makes you feel like, how could that even happen? You know what I mean? You know when you have chills, like it's like that didn't happen, right? That couldn't have happened, right? That ending there seemed to me like whatever is controlling this game overhead, the bucket meant something different to the narrator than it did to whoever's controlling this game as well. The bucket is something that seems like it's putting us deeper into it, like a controlling situation. Now, if we look back on the other endings, right? The first ending we got, we weren't allowed to leave without with the bucket, right? And we felt compelled to hold the bucket, so we never would leave. The second ending we got, we died. But Marielle, we got to see Marielle said, "Oh, with my bucket, I'm safe." Teaching you need this bucket. You need this bucket to survive. You're compelled to get this bucket. The other ending we got seemed like it was outside the game to me. It seems like it was like a part of the game that they don't want us to see, which is a character talking about how the bucket has made him feel this way. And almost like in a Gollum fashion, the character on the tape goes from like, this bucket is confusing, it's terrifying, why do I feel this way too? Well, I need the bucket. Who wouldn't want the bucket? The bucket changes your mind in this way. Then the narrator in this scene, we used the bucket. We went home, and then the narrator tries to say how he feels about the bucket, which is like, this is a bucket that was just an inanimate object. It's not real. It's just supposed to make you feel better about everything. But Stanley became like more enthralled with the bucket to the point that he doesn't need me anymore. And you could hear the hurt in the narrator's voice. He doesn't even need me anymore. This companionship and grouping that they had together that worked to basically like try and get out of this loop is no longer like a need for Stanley. He just feels soothed by the bucket forever. The bucket kept telling us to leave, to go back and forth, telling us what to do. And even the narrator said, I used to do all the orders as well. He did, 100%. But now it's something else compelling us outside of the game, or like over the game, I should say. The bucket is so powerful that we had a loving like love scene with the bucket, where the bucket like led us into the bedroom where all the candles are lit, you know, like on Valentine's Day or something like that. And what was so truly unnerving about that was hearing the narrator's true pain in his voice, actually seeing Stanley go deeper and deeper into his love for this bucket. Like I could feel it, and it was every time we like did something that the bucket said, I felt it, where I was like, oh my God, this is like kind of dark. This is like when someone like, you know, is either like falls out of love with someone or becomes addicted to something, and they fall deeper and deeper into that stuff. And the narrator like feel that. And then at one point then like even like I thought what they were doing was, I thought the narrator was like, oh, I think the bucket's great, you know, to try and, you know, be involved in their person's life, which again, that does happen in those situations where like they feel like they're coming separate from the person, and they go, well, what are they into? Oh, yeah, I could play golf, right? I could do that, you know? I could go running. Where they want to be involved in this stuff. But really what it was the narrator, I can't believe I'm saying this, the narrator fell in love with the bucket as well, starting off with just saying, oh, it's a nice bucket. And then he was so sad about everything that was happening and sad about Stanley leaving him that the bucket that compelled him to want the bucket too, to the point that he was very aggressively asking us for the bucket too. And now I believe that the bucket, from the narrator's perspective, this is my belief on the bucket, the narrator really just meant for this bucket to be like a self-soothing thing. But I think it actually is, from the game's perspective, the bucket actually does have this kind of weird power over people where it soothes you to the point that you are satiated and satisfied that you will never want to leave this place. That you'll never actually want to escape, because why would you need to? Live your life every day with the bucket. Listen to the bucket. Feel compelled by the bucket. Marielle has her bucket and she's happy. You're happy with this bucket, right? The person who tried to find out more about the bucket, he's gone. Now, you could say that's a part of it too, or that's not a part of it. Like, I would go either way with that, but like, there's just two ways you can look at that with that. And there's a monster of some kind that like destroyed this guy for trying to do too many investigations on the bucket. So he was about to crack something on the bucket as well. So it's not just us that feel compelled about the bucket. So here's the thing. We could look at it as that they're made up for our world, or we could say there's other people that are like trapped with this bucket as well. There's other people in our universe who are trapped with this bucket. Right? Which is a terrifying prospect as well. But like the bucket seems to me like it is like a golem-like creature that a one ring type thing that we feel compelled to always be with, to the point that even the narrator felt this way as well. That's what I got from that. One of the most unnerving and sad and painful and when I say claustrophobic and horrible feeling endings, I think intentionally so. And even when we put the bucket in the escape pod, it was from a love for the bucket. We had a love for the bucket, but the game couldn't have that. You know, bring back the bucket. All we had to do is reset and we got the bucket again. But I wonder if there's something to be said for that as well. The one route that we didn't have the bucket, we probably could have followed through and got a different ending. We probably could have escaped to do the escape ending, got some other ending without the bucket. But with the bucket, we're forced into getting these different endings with the bucket. I do think that the bucket is not only a symbol for holding us back, but I think it is something that satiates us and soothes us and makes us addicted to it, to the point that we will actually always rely on it. Always. The bucket is like everything to us. And honestly, I'm kind of glad now, because I thought the bucket would become like my best bud, like I'd be so happy about. But now I'm looking at the bucket, I'm just like, this thing might be like crazier than we think it is. Because it's interesting. The narrator started off narrating what the bucket was saying, but then the bucket started saying its own things, or the person over the bucket started saying its own things, or the bucket like pretending, like even if it was the thing over the game pretending to be the bucket, it was like the bucket started talking to us then. Because the narrator truly believed that it wasn't an actual object that talked. But then it became something that talked. That's the way I look at it. The narrator believed it wasn't something that was supposed to give orders or anything like this, or actually literally compel us or make us addicted to it. But the game has made this bucket for something that we truly rely on and don't want to be without. And they can explain it away gameplay-wise by having us pick it up every single time. Honestly. Terrifying. A really terrifying ending. And just to go through all the endings we got again, I think that the bucket in the first one was once again to soothe us so we wouldn't want to leave, and we wouldn't need to leave, we wouldn't feel compelled to leave. The second ending was a bucket showing that Marielle needs if she has the bucket, she's happy with the bucket and we're not happy without the bucket. When we let the bucket escape to the escape pod, we then realized that the bucket, without it, everything just goes back to normal, but we felt so compelled. And again, you could say gameplay wise, we reset just to see the bucket again, just because I wanted the endings, but then they could explain away that we needed the bucket, right? We reset the game because I needed the bucket. In a meta way, Calvin reset the game because we needed the bucket, right? And in the fourth ending we got there, we just got there, truly solidified that idea that I think the bucket is something that holds us back in a way, that keeps us here, that keeps us soothed, and we need to rely on it, and if we don't rely on it, some bad stuff will happen. And the other ending we got too with the The tape recorder, I think that's like something outside of the game entirely. We weren't supposed to see that. They didn't want us to see that possibly. And or like you could say they want us to see the consequences going against the bucket, but in reality, I also think it's something that we saw. Like there's other people that were also compelled by the bucket, like Marielle and like this person on the tape and like the narrator. This bucket is like the One Ring in a way. Yeah, that's the way I see this. It was such a dark ending. It really was. That bucket is so compelling that it made the narrator for one of the few times ever, like kind of like snap on us and kind of be like, he has snapped before, but you know what I mean? In a way that like was like very aggressive and desperate in a way. So thank you to you guys once again for supporting this series. I'm kind of like in a different mindset now. I need to take a rest. Thank you to Tyfire 2, JB Bull, Jada the Banana, The Ghost of Yuzuma, Felicius Felix, Yul, Radish Adusta, Lix Marky, Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Leon, High Kasparian, Jerebianum, and at the highest tier on my YouTube, Royal Gamer 7, Blasco, and Lucinagi. I'll see you all so soon. Bye bye.